Wow, Sinatra.
Another day, another dollar. I'm saving just to be broke. They said college was serious, but my degree feel like a joke. 4 years or less, I'm sane. I got it done. No playing, just to end up at my mom's after I told her I wasn't staying. Well, here we are. No question, I'm a star. Just got some light years to travel, but it's just so far. But I'ma make it though. Make sure you get your focus right. You coming too, it's about to be one hell of a ride. Yeah, this adults and stuff is crazy. They ain't warned us about this. I'm supposed to live my best life on an unpaid internship. I'm supposed to find my husband. Everybody running game. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. Went from worrying about on flow to running from Uncle Sam. Now I understand why student accounts never gave a damn. Saving accounts be slipping, trying to work out, but I'm tripping. I forgot health insurance. Oh, I'm my mom's until I'm 26, so I gotta pay these student loans. That's adulting. With the score doing the most. That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting. But it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting. Cause these bills got me in trouble. That's adulting. Journey's course is never planned. That's adulting. Just leave it in God's hands. Cause that's adulting.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the School of Life podcast. Y'all know when I am on this couch, that means I have a special guest joining me for the day's episode. As always, I'm excited about the episode, but I really mean that I'm excited about today's episode because I have my first cousin, like my blood cousin, not a play cousin, my first cousin joining me to talk about a topic that is both serious but lighthearted, but full of lessons. We're going to have a great time learning more about my cousin, why we chose to have this episode, and really diving into more of my family history. I have been very transparent on this podcast since day one in terms of what family dynamics look like in my life. And so today's episode is a deep dive into how my cousin and I rebuilt our relationship after our family had drama, we'll just say that, and why it's important for you as a millennial, a young adult, to really cherish those who haven't wronged you and how you can go about rebuilding those relationships like my cousin and I have done. Anyways, I won't get into all the tea right now. Y'all know the drill. Grab your note-taking tools because School of Life is now in session. Well, hey, cousin.
Hey, girl.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here today. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm going to give the classmates a disclaimer. We love to kiki. Like, you'll see, we already started. We love to kiki. So we're going to kiki. We may shed a little tear, but most of all, we're going to have a really candid conversation. Yes. We're going to share some life lessons and just share our truth about how we rebuilt our relationship after... We didn't even count the years.
You know, it's...
At least a decade.
Yeah.
At least
Over a decade.
Over a decade, yeah. So we'll give you the full shebang. So let's start with the cousin relationship, because that's important.
Okay. Well, as far as our relationship, what do you mean? Like, as far as, like, are you my...
I'm your cousin.
You're my cousin, of course.
Your daddy's
side. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, so you're my cousin on my dad's side.
And that's the ghetto side. Y'all, every black family know the daddy side, but go ahead.
It is. It's a little ghetto. It's a little, but it's really fun. Jaye is my first cousin on my dad's side. My dad and her mom are siblings, yes. So that's the fun part about it. But it was really fun and interesting growing up.
It was. Let's hop into it. When we say that we rebuilt our relationship, I want to preface that in that we didn't have a fallout necessarily. Right. Like, we were kids, okay? Because of the family dynamics that we'll get into a little bit without putting the family out there, we lost contact. And right. So we, over the last couple of years, have rebuilt what a relationship looks like as young adults now. So before we get into that, though, let's reminisce on our childhood, because it's not like we just met and all the things. Right. So I'll pass it to you. Let's go down memory lane on how we grew up, what our relationship was like as kids.
Well, growing up, it was really fun. And let's talk about how you pushed me off the bed.
I knew she was going to talk about... Not classmates scratch. I didn't push off the bed. Okay, I did.
But
I was like 2.
She was aggressive, let's just say. But growing up was really fun. We grew up at our grandma's house. It was really
our great grandma.
You're right. Great grandma house.
Rest that soul. That's my girl.
Shout out to Louise. But no, it was really fun. Growing up, it was a lot of us. But me and Jaye had a bond that was just, we were inseparable. Like we enjoyed each other. We had a good time. We always had a good time. We always laughed. We always made the best of what we had. Just the small things, even going like to the mall, my mom doing her hair. It was really, really fun.
It was. So, for a little bit more context, that was in Birmingham, Alabama, and cousin moved from Birmingham. How old were you?
Well, I moved from Birmingham to Anniston in...
Was it middle school?
No, it was earlier than that. Third grade. Actually, it was 2001. Actually.
Okay. Oh, you old. Well, no, cousin moved in third grade. But at the time, our parents still made a conscious effort for us to see each other. Right. I would go visit cousin, and we would be all at the mall.
Yes, cousin always had her lip gloss. If she didn't have nothing else, she had the side ponytail with the lip gloss.
Period. Okay, I was a baddie even back then. So I have to say, it was really fun growing up, and we enjoy kind of reminiscing on our childhood because at the time, I didn't know that we were poor. Cousin wasn't super, super poor. Okay, her mama did some good things.
Girl.
But we had love, and I think that's one thing that we always talk about. Being cousins, we always had this foundation of love, which has helped us grow our relationship now. But before we get to the now, let's dive into the dum-dum-dum, what happened and what kind of caused the divide.
So I think what caused it is pretty much just our family, with my mom and my dad and, your mom, just adult stuff at that time. And I think that's what really that's what not necessarily grew apart. Grew apart in the word we found each other just sounds awful.
Yeah, because nothing happened between us.
Yes, nothing happened between us. I was an hour away, and it was just hard to, sometimes just get in touch, or maybe, really Facebook is really where we just started communicating slowly but surely. But for the most part, it was no communication. We didn't have cell phones at the time. We had house phones, but
right, we had a house phone.
We had a house phone, but everybody have their own individual life as well. So when you get busy from practices and just sports and things of that sort, you just lose track of time, and that's pretty much what happened. So.
And the years went on. I'm going to say the last I remember actually hanging out was that time we went to the mall. I think I was like 12.
Yes.
So you might have been 13.
Did we not go skating or something like that?
I think we did go skating. We was outside.
Outside at teens.
Very much outside. Yeah, okay, pause story. This is when Sierra's crop top midriff shirt was really popular because I had a pink and white one with the hood on it.
Yes, and don't forget the gauchos. Because you had the gauchos.
You had the gauchos. That is enough. So, anyways, it was that long that I hadn't talked to my cousin. So, we're going to say 12, 13 years old, which would have put me at 2000. What year was I 12? 7? 8?
2008.
Yeah, 2007, 2008. And so from then up until 2014, we had no contact, unfortunately. And it was actually cousin who reached out to me on Facebook. Shout out to Facebook to check in to see how I was doing. Yes. So I want to dive into a lot of people when we think about like rebuilding family relationships. There's always this notion of like being a bigger person. How do I start the conversation? Does this person remember me? Like, what do we have to talk about? We've gotten older now. What was your mindset like when you first reached out?
When I first reached out, that was right, actually, in 2014. I was already on my own, actually. My mindset at that time, I was just in a different mind space. I had just actually found out I was pregnant with Blake, in July. So that was a whole different story. I was 20. 20 at the time. So that was already shocking. And then not only that, when you see people on social media, especially like family members, you think about all the memories that you guys had. And then, when you're just thinking about life in general, and when it was happy, you always go back normally to that space. And so life was very much so happy when we were just kids, grandma's house on the metal swing, things of that sort. So when I would see you on social media or Facebook, I would always make it my business to just say, hey, let me just reach out just to see how you're doing. Like I said, because we, just to reiterate, no beef, no anything, there's nothing bad happened between us. We just time, really. Just time. Yeah. Time got in the way. But outside of that, it was really just life. Life was just happening. It happened so fast.
It did. So you reached out on Facebook 2014.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we didn't hit it off immediately.
No, we didn't. You was kind of like giving me the...
Oh, no!
You was in college and you was giving me the...
I was in college.
She was the bougie cousin. So let's just say that. She's the bougie cousin.
Now,
if you can't tell...
That, put in the comments if you believe that I'm the bougie cousin.
She is the bougie cousin. She is the cousin that's always got her lip gloss in her back pocket.
Period.
So
I definitely was... I don't want to say standoffish. You know what I think was going through my mind was like, what are we going to talk about? Like, it's been so long. I think at that time I must have been 19. Like, it didn't dawn on me the importance and the gravity of kind of rekindling our relationship. Obviously, looking back, I'm like, wow, that would have been a good starting point instead of a few years later.
Right.
But just you get caught up in your own world, which is where I think some people forget that we have to kind of step out of, because relationships take work. I think I've said that a number of times on the podcast, and that's any relationship. And so at the time, honestly, we could just call it selfish. I wasn't thinking about, rebuilding family relationships.
I wouldn't call it selfish, only because I feel like you had already endured so much with your family. So it's almost like, I don't know what this person, because you didn't know me as an adult. You knew me as a kid. So I will say, again, my favorite word, grace. I will say, I think that, you just maybe did not want to start something and then, want to, get hurt in the process. So you maybe that was just your mechanism of protecting your own feelings. So that, let's just call it that. We're not going to call it stuff.
Oh, that is so sweet. I'll take that. So 2014 happens, and y'all, we went back and read the Facebook messages a few days ago. And we went all the way back to 2014, but the years went on, and we would talk a little bit on Facebook here and there. I'm going to give my cousin her props, though. When she says she gives grace, she absolutely gives grace. She would reach out here and there. We would talk. We would give each other's number every 3 months. Felt like
never text,
never call, never text. Always on Facebook. But the turning point and where we really experienced growth in our relationship building was between 2018 and 2019.
Right.
So let's talk about where we both were mentally when that growth started happening.
2018, 2019. So I was actually planning to move to Birmingham. Yes. And I think you were, just moving back? Or you had just moved back?
To Huntsville.
For NASA?
Yes.
So
NASA. Got to make sure people hear clearly.
Yes. So NASA. But yes, I do. I think that's when the relationship really just came into part. I think, you were going through a lot of stuff as far as moving back, the job, relationship. I think you were just, just going through a lot too as well as myself. I didn't know if I want to be in Birmingham or, if I was just trying to find a new life, just trying to find a new career path, just really honestly lost. But, the blind lead the blind sometimes when we made it out.
Indeed.
No, I think that's pretty much where it starts, is when you first moved back to Alabama, and it just flowed. Like we started texting more. We started calling more. The calls turned into wine on FaceTime for 2 hours. Yes. Like it was really just a thing. It was really fun. And then we started going to, grab dinner. That was like our thing. And then we turned into cousin date. So yeah, it was really fun. I appreciate it.
I miss those times. For anyone who's watching who may be like, oh, well, this makes me want to rekindle my relationship with a cousin or whatever the case, when there's no beef, we have to keep saying that you have to be rekindling with somebody that you don't have beef with. Because we got to do another episode on people you have beef with, because that's a whole nother topic. But if for anyone who's thinking, okay, I have a cousin who I haven't spoken to and we just lost contact because of our parents, what would be your advice for that initial kind of reaching out to them?
I would say, just go for it. You just never know until you really try, and people also aren't where you left them off. Some people can be, but I mean, I feel like if you really love the person or if you genuinely want to have a good relationship with that person, it's okay to just, send the message. Even if it's, hey, just checking on you, just a wellness check is what I call it. Mm-hmm. Just, hey, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. I just want to just say, hey, and just, that's it. Hope you have a good day. Mm-hmm. And it can start from there. And you just move forward. And then when people, see that you're genuinely, for them, or you're not just wanting something. Because, you have those family members that want something. But, no, if you just want to just make sure somebody's okay and you just want to have a relationship with someone, just reach out. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be the bigger person.
Maybe. No, I love that. So I want to kind of double click. I learned that in corporate America. Let's double click on that point. When people, we're gonna double click on that point. When 2018, 2019 came around and we were establishing our relationship, do you feel that you were reaching out more? Because I'm thinking about people who may be wanting to initiate this relationship building. And I do know there's a lot of pride just in the world in general. And so as the person, I'm going to say you were the initiator. Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel like, dang, I'm doing a lot to try to make this work?
Maybe in the beginning, but I don't think I went into it just like, I'm going to make this, I'm going to build us a relationship. I think I just did it just off of a genuine, I really hope you're okay. I haven't talked to you in a while, type of thing. But as far as pride, I do. Sometimes you have to see it to the side, and sometimes you have to be the bigger person because life is really just too short to just hold on to the smallest things, even if you do. You guys did have a falling out, or y'all do have some type of beef. So I feel like nothing. You can talk about anything, or you can talk it out. I'm a talker. I like to talk everything out. I'm gonna extend grace. But yes, I do think. I don't think you were being selfish though at all.
Okay.
I don't. I really don't. I think you were just in a different state because we grew up totally different. Mm-hmm. I think with the background that you grew up with as far as in your household, that just maybe has you shielded. Mm-hmm. So that could be different, for anybody. It just depends on the person.
I love that. And for the people that are on the receiving end of someone reaching out, I want to share that it's important to be open. Like you don't want to, like cousin has alluded to, we grew up different. I had gone through a lot at this time. I was very guarded, and so it was a lot of like trust issues. What does this person want from me? I don't have any money to give them. So I hope they're not thinking this is a come up. But I quickly saw that through her consistency that I needed to be open and let my guard down. And so if you're on the receiving end of a family member reaching out or whatever the case may be, just be open to what it could look like and what it could blossom into. Because now we've gotten to the point where I could be having a bad day, and after I call my man, let me call my cousin, okay? Or let me FaceTime my cousin. Right. Literally almost every morning we talk.
Every morning she's making some mushroom coffee?
Yes.
Right, either before or after she records for her story, her Instagram story. I
call my cousin.
Yes. Or after the workout. Let's not forget the workout.
We're trying. We're trying. So one thing, the people may be watching this and say, okay, that sounds all cool. They seem like the perfect cousins, and we are. Obviously, that doesn't come without conflicts and difference of opinion. Mm-hmm. So because we were both going through, I'm just going to call it growing pains when we first reconnected. Right. I was on a world tour. My life was in shambles.
It was
crazy. Cousin had her level up season going on. It was just a really big season of growth. With that came growing pains, even in our own relationship, because you're trying to build a relationship, but you're not fully whole yourself. It was just a lot, honestly. let's talk about how we held each other accountable and didn't let small things, I guess, offend one another. So I'll share a little story, a small story. This was a very big growth moment. You already know what story I'm about to share.
Do I know?
I think. So there was one time, and I can admit that I had my own personal stuff going on. Right. And this is where you have to be self-aware. Mm-hmm. And you had a situation going on. I don't remember the details, but I came off very judgmental.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't.
That's good. But I came off very judgmental. And in that moment, I kind of was thinking about our family in general. And I was like, if I don't apologize and acknowledge my wrongdoing, this is just going to be a vicious cycle, right, contributing to the craziness that the family already, yes, perpetrates. Is that the word? Whatever the case. And so what I learned in that moment is owning up, to what was a mistake, and then coming to you, and then you being open and having that forgiveness and giving me that grace. But also knowing like this one thing shouldn't hold back the relationship. Right. So that was one for me. And I guess it's not conflict, but just like how to hold each other accountable, how to really still grow as you're developing a relationship. Do you have one?
I don't think I necessarily have one. I think we do a good job as to, always giving each other space, because life can be overwhelming. And, sometimes you can take things out on people before you know it. Yeah. So I don't think we just have conflict issues.
That is true.
Disagreeing. I think we also disagree because we are different areas in our life as well. But I think the great part about us is you give me the corporate life, and I give the backside, so I think that's where it's kind of like the balance. I don't really see us just having conflict. I think it's okay. If that's how you feel, we agree to disagree, and we just keep moving. I don't think we let it just, cousin said this and I'm just upset, I don't think it would ever stop us. I hope it wouldn't stop us.
No, absolutely. Girl, you tripping today.
Okay.
And I want you to saying. Because I think sometimes you tell me when I'm tripping.
I will. I'm going to always hold you accountable.
So I think it's important. Let's double click on the fact that we're in different places in our lives.
Yes.
Still two very good places, but different places just because of where life took us after childhood and Trump. Just all the things. My classmates know. Y'all have listened to the episodes. Y'all know where I've been. But we're in two different places of our lives, but still very thriving places. How did you approach the relationship building, like with that in mind? Or was it even in your mind?
I don't think it was.
Okay.
Because I don't think what I had going on at the time, I don't think it really bothered me enough. I don't think I let too much bother me.
You don't.
Think about it. Because it never... That's a good question. It never dawned on me. Like, I never decided to mix the two. I never, any of that. I just knew, I really miss her. I really miss our laughs. I miss us, just being at grandma's house. That's where we were. Yes. That was our place. Or just coming over and, how I would come over and stay the weekend and stuff like that. So I just would think about that stuff. So, maybe because during that time, I was just thinking of wanting to be in a better place, a happy place. And maybe... Girl, are you my happy place?
And I am.
So that I mean, all in all, that might be it. You just might be the person who you give me good, energy and, happiness. So that might be why.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Do I need a Kleenex? I love that. I think it's important for people who are looking to build any type of relationship to be respectful of where people are in general. Like, how people joke and be like, oh, I'm the Beyonce of the family. I got this going on. I'm a rich auntie. I guess I am the Beyonce of the family. But so I feel like sometimes people make that their ego.
Yeah.
And it gets in the way of building relationships. And we don't talk enough about that. It's nothing wrong with being who you are. Like, please, girl. For Christ's sake, I worked at NASA. Like, come on. I'm really that girl. But that does not become my identity. That doesn't become my end-all, be-all. And I don't carry that into my family relationships, into my friend relationships. And that's one thing that I wanted to just hone in on, because it takes a lot of growth and, what's the word? Self-awareness. I would say self-awareness to start a new relationship. It's similar to starting a romantic relationship. The same way that you have to be vulnerable and not take your ego into it. I think a lot of what we've been able to do is because we leave it at the door. Like, I'm still Jaybird.
Hello, Jaybird. Yes, I love that. And that's your nickname. Wait, did Grandma Jackie or Grandma Louise give you that?
Honestly, I don't know.
That's so funny.
Somebody.
We'll call
and confirm. And this still my cousin. I just call her cousin. I don't have to say her whole name.
Cousin, that's it.
Cousin. Let's before we get into like our top 3 and kind of where we are now and what's to come and all the things, let's wrap up with what do you want people to know? Like, if there was one challenge that you say, if there's one thing that was a challenge in this process, what do you want to kind of warn people about? And I hate to say warn, I guess advise.
I would just say, go in it with an open mind and just understand that everybody is different. Everybody's thought process is different. You can't make someone, understand what you're trying to say. You can't make them agree on on your point of view. You have to really just, try to understand them and work towards it that way. Don't just go in it and she's not understanding what I'm saying, or just go in and I would be upset. I wouldn't be upset, but most people would get upset. Most people would get upset if, someone that is not really just, taking heed to what they're saying. And I'm the type of person, I just say it and then we can go from there and move forward. But don't force it. Don't force it at all. Just let it happen naturally, because that's when it's the best. It's fun that way. So don't force it at all.
I love that. Don't force it. The more we're talking, I literally feel like the principles that we put on romantic relationships apply in these types of relationships. Like when you're getting to know a guy or a girl, if that's your thing, whatever the case, you don't want to force it. You want to be open-minded. You go in it with ease. Sometimes we put a lot of pressure on our family members because they are family members. But one thing I think we've done really good at is there's literally no pressure. Like,
no pressure at all.
Zero pressure. Now, there are expectations of greatness and of love, but we remove the pressure of, you're my cousin, so it needs to look like XYZ. It's just, we are who we are, and we coexist in this cousinship in that way.
And I think another thing too, being that we are in separate places in our life, I think that's where we're able to kind of, help each other and just become better within ourselves, because it's a lot of stuff that I can't help you with, but you can help me with, or vice versa, so I think that that's a good thing as well. So I would just say, just try to understand the person and understanding someone's feelings as well, and acknowledging their feelings and how they feel about stuff. So I had to acknowledge a lot of your feelings, because I didn't know you had all this going on in the beginning.
That is so true. Okay, so let's go double click. Let's double click there. When you miss out, I think it's important to remember, when you miss out on years of someone's life, you have no idea what that person has gone through. And so the way that they show up in a relationship, cousinship, or whatever the relationship is a direct reflection of what they have gone through. So very transparently, to Cousin's point, I was still very broken and damaged, and I didn't trust people when she first reached out. But she didn't know why. She just knew like something happened. And she was like, "Oh, girl, it's easy. Bitch,
I'm like, just
call this person." And I was like,
it's not that easy.
Not that easy.
It's not. It's really not. And that's one thing I can say, like, from the time we reconnected to now, you've grown so much. You've grown to a better place, especially like with people and family members. You do try, because at first, she wasn't trying. She was closed off. She was like, I have nothing else to give. I want to...
What Whitney used to say, I have nothing.
I have nothing. A new sheet of paper, okay? Because she had written us off. But not I think, I don't think not me, but...
Most of them.
Most. But I think, you did get to a good place, where, once you seen that I didn't want anything from you, but just a good time. And we have a good time. Yeah. Genuinely have a good time. And we talk about everything. Yes. When I say everything, we could be talking about socks. Them socks on the floor.
Yes, I leave my socks on the couch, guys, and cousin tells me not to do that because my boo don't like that. But it's okay. It's okay.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
I love that you brought that up. As the cousin that had to be seemingly more, not even seemingly, very truly more understanding. How was that as someone who's like, I feel like you are not the fixer in the family, but like you want everybody to be like, kumbaya, let's be peaceful. Let's gather, let's love one another. Like, how was it building this relationship with me and it's total dumpster fire over here?
Well, one, that's your mom's side. And
That
that's
is
my
true.
dad's side. So
back to the first point. I told y'all the dad side be ghetto.
But see, I never was around. I was around, but
Yeah.
I wasn't around as much as you were. So I
Yeah.
never had to experience grandma like the way you got to experience grandma. Like I was only around for holidays or, for every other month and a weekend, or something like that. But I wasn't just there all the time. So you really got to grow up with these people. You really got to understand them, their personalities, how they truly are. So me on the outside looking in, I know them, but I don't know them. So that's why I think it's another reason why I think it's easy to kind of want to fix things, because I'm just like, I want everybody to get along, and then, sometimes when you have friends that have healthy relationships with their parents or families, it's kind of like, I want my family to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think also too, having a kid young, because I had Blake at 21, so I
Shout out to my baby.
Hey Blake. But I did have him young, so I think that I had to grow up early. So I think of that, and just also just like I said, the dad side, I never was really there. Now my mom's side,
that's another story.
That's a different story. But my dad's side, I just wasn't around, and you were there. You were in the fire. Like you were there for all the arguments. You were there for all the traumatizing moments, and I just wasn't. I was the one who was on the phone, like, "Hey, girl,
right? You got this weekend?
What? Okay,
yeah.
We'll talk." So when I hear the stories, or when we talk, to our parents or to grandma or whoever, and they tell us these stories, it's like now as an adult, you just look back like y'all could have simply just talked a lot of this stuff out. So it's different, It's really different. So I think that's what makes it easier to just say, hey, y'all, let's kumbaya. Let's just go have a drink or something. I don't know.
Everybody have a drink. I think that's a good point. Although we joke about, it's not a joke, it's for real, but the dad side being the ghetto side. And I am on cousin's dad's side.
My dad's side.
I think when if you're out there and you want to rebuild family relationships of some sort, it's important. It sounds so trivial, but it is important to take those things into consideration, because most times, I'm not going to say every time and stereotype the Black community, but most times the dad side for some reason is estranged and it's tough, and it's just like, I don't talk to them and all the things. And so there's a cousin on that side, there's some trauma and some experiences that cousin or aunt or whoever might have experienced that you're not privy to. And so building the relationship with them, you have to understand that all of that comes with them, and extend that grace and be open and almost kind of break through that wall to get to where you can sit on the couch and a kiki, because we could be here all day a kiki.
Yes. Even just the history, like where it plays back to, like, as far as growing up and stuff, and just how our grandma was, with our siblings. That's why I always tell you, if you ever want to get to know somebody, like, more, or understand them, why they do stuff a certain way, look into their childhood. And when we start digging into, like, my dad's childhood,
y'all, we dug.
It was deep. It really was deep. So it explained a lot of the actions, a lot of the words, a lot of the traumatizing moments. It explained a lot of reasons why, we just had that type of environment around us. So it makes sense. So.
Wow. I love it. Okay. Well, I will not keep us here on the couch all day, because I can. I want to close out with, before we get into our homework, because the classmates know we always going to have some homework, but let's both share kind of our takeaways, lessons learned, whatever we want to call them, from rebuilding our relationship after, at this point, 10 years. So 10 years ago was like kind of the start of us rebuilding. What have you learned Yeah, what have you learned?
What I've learned, so I guess my takeaway really. So my takeaway would be always give grace. What you may know or what may come easy or normal to you may not be for someone else.
That's a good one.
Also, just be gentle to yourself. Be gentle with yourself, because I know I found myself at one point like my cousin is, excelling in life, and you just, girl, you have made these decisions, and you just, your road is this way, but you have to always, just be gentle with yourself, love on yourself, and just understand that, things happen for a reason. Everybody's different, so, and everybody's road is different as well. And also just remember to have fun, especially love on your family members and have fun. Enjoy yourself. Life is serious, but don't forget to have fun, while reconnecting and just in life in general.
I love that. Because we did have some fun. We got deep, and we talked to the elders in the family and tried to put the family tree together.
It was deep.
But we had fun. I would say I only have 2 takeaways. Is be open to the relationship.
Yes.
So as y'all know, I'm on the receiving end of cousin reaching out and all the things and carrying the family trauma on my back. But being open is really what got us here. Yes. And then be consistent in order to nourish the relationship. Like I've been saying, it's just like a romantic relationship. You have to be consistent. You'll be mad if that man don't text you for a day. Like, you can text your cousin every 2 days. Like, the consistency, you will be mad. Yeah.
I haven't heard from her in a while.
Right. Like, does she not love me no more? So be consistent in nourishing the relationship, because consistency opens the door for deeper connection, more growth, and just all the things. It's been such a good journey. So I appreciate you sharing your journey with me.
No, I appreciate you for having me. I appreciate you in general, just in life. Like you really bring just sunshine. You always have that sunshine. You always want to add. So I really appreciate you for having me on the podcast today. And just in life in general, I just appreciate you all the way around, just for being Jaye, just being Jaye. So I love you for that.
Well, with that, y'all, I'm not about to cry on camera, so we just gonna cut. That's a wrap. But no, really. Thank you, cousin, for joining me. Thank you, classmates, for watching and being on this journey with us. If you are a friend, classmate, my distant cousin out there, and you're looking to rekindle a family relationship, this is your sign. I want to re-preface. It needs to be without beef. Okay, we're going to do another episode.
Yes, we should do another episode, especially just the ones that have beef. We need to start out with a counselor. We might need to get a different couch.
Yeah, we got a bigger couch. Because cousin has rekindled after beef. Me, not so much.
You have to be forgiving at some point.
See, this will go to another episode.
You have to be forgiving. It's never that deep. It's never that deep. Never.
It's that deep. No, I'm just kidding.
Agree to disagree.
We do another episode because there truly are some family dynamics and relationships that have been rekindled after disappointment and all the things. I think you won't mind me sharing that even with your dad, you rekindled with him, and not necessarily beef, but tension. And so there's something to be said about that. So we'll do it. I have cousin back for us to do another deep dive into that. But in the meantime, y'all know that this podcast exists for you to grow, for you to keep evolving. But before we get out of here, we are going to get into the homework. So, cousin, one thing, we did our takeaways, but for those out there that want to do this, they're like, okay, Cousin Jaye and Cousin Derica gave me something to think about. What's their one piece of homework this week?
One piece of homework. Let's see. My favorite word. It's gonna always be that. It'll be grace. Just give someone grace, or just do something nice for someone. Just Just do something nice, just for somebody.
Okay, not even a family member.
You don't even have to be a family member, because you have to start somewhere.
That's good.
So let's just try being nice. Just doing something nice, whether it's just buying the person's coffee behind you, or just holding the door if you don't hold the door. I mean, anything, something nice, something simple.
Okay.
But just try to be nice and, you know, just extend grace because not where you are, they might not be there. So you just remember that. So that's why I always give grace because we could be in two different places or I may understand better than you understand the situation. So and it takes time to get places. So just grace.
Grace. That is Cousin's favorite word. All right, friends. Well, that wraps up another episode of the School of Life podcast. Y'all know why I'm here. To motivate you, to inspire you, to share my journey in the hopes that you feel that adulting is a little less painful, although it is still very ghetto and painful. But until next time, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep evolving. Bye. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, give us a follow at School of Life Podcast on Instagram and be sure to follow me at _Miss Jaye. That's _MISSJAYE.
Gotta pay these student loans. That's adulting. With the score doing the most. That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting. But it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting. These bills got me in trouble.